Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be reviewing, or rather I'm going to be reviewing, every RC car I've owned and my son's owned over the past 18 months or so. I'm not going to include any of the vintage nitro cars I've owned. I'm not going to include any of the RC cars I owned when I was younger, when I used to race. We're just going to focus on the past 18 months of stuff you can still buy new or still find readily available second hand. Now I've come up with a brand new rating system, which is how I'm going to rate every RC car I review from now on. And it's really simple. There's just three parts to it. So first off is the price. So that's going to go in kind of reverse way. So 1 point will be for expensive, which I put at £1,000, and then 10 points would be very, very cheap or even actually free. Then we got into the fun factor. Now fun factor goes from 1 to 10, 1 being not fun at all, 10 being super fun. I've yet to have an RC car that rates 10, but maybe I will one day. And then we get on to durability, which is a really important one. So 1 is super fragile, and when you look at it, it breaks. And 10 is super tough, where you can double backflip it, land it on its roof, and everything's fine. Now the first car I'm going to start with today is this teeny tiny FTX Hooligan Junior. Now my son bought this last year out of his own money, and I told him not to. I told him wait till we get home and we'll have a look online, and he didn't. He bought it anyway. He paid 50 quid for it. Now you can get these, I've seen these online for £37.99. Which, you know, is really cheap for a hobby, well, not hobby grade, but hobby grade manufacturer of RC cars. However, this is definitely not hobby grade. It's definitely toy grade. It's bloody terrible. Ugh, let's rate it. So price-wise, it comes in at 9.5, which is a really good start. Fun factor, this thing is not fun at all. It's slow, it accelerates slowly. Anytime you turn it, it topples over. Honest to God, don't buy one. I've given it a 1 for fun. But durability wise though, it's taken many tumbles, it's still all in one piece, it still works. The only thing I've marked it down for is the fact the rear wing came off quite easily. So I've marked that down as a 9 for durability, which gives it a total score of 19.5, which I think is the lowest score we've got here today. Seriously, terrible. So the second one we have in for rating today is this FTX Carnage brushless. Now I bought this in second hand super cheap, and I bought it as a spares car from a nitro Carnage, and it came with batteries and a charger and all kinds, and I got it really super cheap. But when I got it, it was all in one piece. I put a battery in it and it ran, so I thought I might as well give it to my son, so he's got an extra RC car. But before I gave it to my son, I took it to the skate park and I made a video about that. And one of the most fun times I've had with an RC car was launching this on 2S at a skate park, because I wasn't bothered. You know, the parts are that cheap. I mean, the body posts, the body mount comes to £2.50 for both ends. How cheap is that? The front bumper, which is, as you can see, broke off, that's £3. The rear one, £3. The parts are so super cheap. I wasn't bothered. I just launched it. It was loads of fun. But obviously not the most durable thing in the world. Not the cheapest in the world, but definitely not expensive. So I've got a few clips of this to throw in after I've rated it, because I've had this on video a few times recently. Well, let's get to rating anyway. So the FTX Carnage brushless rates an 8 for price, because it's around £200 to buy new. Rates a 7 for fun, and rates a 6 for durability. So I've given that a total of 21, which isn't bad. And bearing in mind as well, this came away in one piece from the skate park on 2S, which really impressed me. So the next one we have here is another FTX Carnage. It's the FTX Carnage NT. And oh man, I love this thing. I love nitros. I know they're a pain. I know they're a nightmare. I know they're not as fast as brushless, but they're just so much fun. I think the noise gives it an extra dimension, and I really enjoy nitros. I enjoy tinkering with them. I do get annoyed with them, but I do enjoy them as well. Now again, this cost around the same price as the Carnage brushless, and it's a little bit quicker than the Carnage brushless on 2S. If I could fit a 3S lipo in the Carnage brushless, then that would be quicker than the nitro. Now price wise, again, this comes in at under £200, so I've given that an 8 for price. Fun factor, I've given this a 7.5, because I just think it's a bit more fun than the brushless. Even though you can't do a backflip and you've got no reverse, I think the noise from the nitro engine just makes it a bit more fun. That's my opinion anyway. Durability wise, I've given it a 6 again. Now, I've not even jumped this thing yet, and it's stripped 2 diff gears, which is quite annoying. And all the running gear front and rear is the same as the brushless Carnage as well. So I've given this a 6. So all in all, I've rated this at 21.5. But I can't wait to get a new diff gear in this and some new body mounts and take this out for some jumping. It's going to be a fun day. So next in for racing is the FTX Banzai. Now these are really cheap to buy, completely ready to run. I think they're around 114 quid at the moment. So it's super duper cheap, and it's the same platform as the Carnage and the Vantage as far as I'm aware. Same gearboxes, front and rear, just different wishbones. It's a nice, well, a reasonably nice looking body shell, pre-painted, ready to go. It normally comes with drift tyres. I put these grippy tyres on for my son. I don't think these are particularly fun, you know, especially with the drift tyres they come with. They're not fast at all. You can't really drift them. You can kind of power slide them a little bit. I think it's really not engaging, and it's a shame because the platform is really good, and if they'd have done grippy tyres and maybe a brushless system, it could have been a really good cheap little on-road package, but they didn't do that, did they? So ratings wise, we've gone for price 8.5. Fun, I've only given it a 3 because honestly, it's not fun. Durability, I've given it a 10 because it's so slow you can't possibly break it. So that's a full score of 21.5. But if you do buy one of these, you know, try around with some different gear ratios, some different tyres, because this has got potential to be fun. Go! So next up, we've got the FTX Tracer. Now, I bought this for my son as his first hobby grade RC car last year, and he absolutely loved it. Unfortunately, I've recently sold it, so I can't show you, but I've got some pictures, and I might have some video clips, maybe. But basically, it's great. When he first got it, he was 7 years old, and he's got no chill, my kid, at all. And he just sent it over jumps, he sent it, donuted it, he did whatever he could. It would not break. In the end, it broke, and it was only a bolt that came out, I think. So it's been a really impressive toy, you know what I mean? They come in, I think they're nearly 70 quid at the moment for the brush version. They're very durable, kids love them, but I think, you know, if I was to do it again, I'd probably buy the brushless version and turn the power down for the first few months, because he did get bored of it after a few months. So ratings wise, price is at 9 because it cost under £100. Fun factor, I'd give it a solid 5. I mean, even I could drive that for a few minutes and be entertained. Durability wise, I'd give it a 9. That thing took an absolute pounding, I tell you. My kid has got no chill whatsoever, and he just drove it into things. It did really, really well. So that's a total score of 23, which is by far the highest score so far. So well done, FTX. Right, now we're going to talk about the Maverick Quantum Flux MT. This was my first brushless RC car, and oh my god, I was absolutely smitten with it when I bought it. It was super quick, it would do backflips, it looked incredible, I was absolutely amazed with it. Obviously over time I found out that it's pretty weak, but it was quite bizarre because it would it would take a really high jump, and if you landed it on the wheels 9 times out of 10 it would be fine, but then you could do a really small jump and it'll break a drive shaft. So it didn't quite make sense, but I've given it what I think is a fair review. So I'd say, you know, price it at 8 because it cost around £200. Fun factor, I'd give it a solid 7. Durability wise, I'd give it a 7 again, just because it would take some really big jumps absolutely fine. So I've got to give it a 7. So fair play to Maverick there. That's got a total score of 22. Now, I've sold that, so I can't show you it. And I haven't even got any videos of it. I've got some pictures and some screenshots, but I'll put a link in the description to videos of all these RC cars, my original reviews. So if you are interested, you can see the full video. Right, this is my latest addition. This is the Maverick Quantum Flux Plus XT. And if you already follow my channel, you'll know I've had this out a few times. I've made a few videos with it, and I absolutely love it. It's a fantastic piece of kit, and it comes in at under 200 quid. It's plenty quick enough, handles really well. And And this thing has been abused over the past few weeks. It's been jumped, it's been backflipped, it's been bashed. And then last time I got out, my son had to go for 5 minutes. He was doing backflips and front flips and all kinds. And that's when finally it gave in and stopped working. But it has taken some serious abuse. I'm really impressed with it. I would definitely recommend these. The wing broke, the front bumpers broke, the rear bumpers broke. And I think a diff pinion's gone maybe, or diff spare has gone because it's lost drive. But this thing has taken an absolute beating. So I'm very impressed with this. And like the FTX, the parts aren't expensive. So these come in under 200 quid. So for the price of giving it an 8. Fun factor, I've given it a 7.5 on paper. Do you know what? I'm going to give this an 8. I've really enjoyed driving this. Durability again, I've given it a 7. I mean, I'd give it more than that really, but I'd probably take some stick for that. So, yeah. So yeah, 8 for price, 8 for fun, 7 for durability. What's that going to be? 16. So that's a total score of 23, which I think is fair. Now I've got plenty of footage of this, so I'm going to put some footage of this just after now. And also I've done some full videos of this as well. I'll put links to the full videos in the description. I'll also put links in the description to where you can buy all these cars as well. So if you are interested, just get in the description and it'll all be there for you. But yeah, absolutely love this thing. Right, next up is another RC car I no longer own, so I can't show you in person. I've got a couple of pictures and a couple of videos I'll throw in. And I bought this one second hand and I only kept it for a few months because I could not get on with it at all. It's the HPI Savage Flux XS. That's right, I've got notes today. Like a professional. Now, the Savage Flux XS, I bought this second hand off a friend and I didn't pay an awful lot of money for it. I think I paid £170 for it. And on 2S it was a bit slow. I couldn't fit any of my 3S lipos in the battery box. And I saw videos where people did fit 3S lipos and it was stupid fast but you couldn't control it. I just didn't gel with it at all, you know. I mean, I had some good afternoons with it, don't get me wrong, but most of the time I took it out I was either thoroughly underwhelmed or it broke. So, but I mean, it was second hand and well used when I bought it, so I can't really mark it down for being super weak because I think a lot of the parts are worn down by the time I bought it. So I'm a bit a loose end with this one really as well. The other thing I found with the Savage, it was such a nightmare to work on. So with spare gear stripped, which it loved to strip spare gears, it was his favourite thing to do. Or drive gear rather, because it's a three cog system inside the Savage. I don't know why. I didn't like it one bit, you know. And I've got some footage of it being cool, and I've got some photos of it, but I'm glad I haven't got it anymore. Let's put it that way. Anyway, let's get to the rating. I'll stop yabbering. So price, I'll give it a 7 because they cost around £300 to buy. Fun, I'll give it a 7. I've been really generous with that, you know. Yeah, let's give it a 7, go on. And durability, I'll give it a 7. I mean, so I'll give it a score of 21. I could have gone higher or lower, so I wouldn't recommend one. But it's got a score of 21 anyway. Right, we're near the end now, guys. We've got 3 more to go. But this one, this is my Team Corally Kronos XP. Man, I bought this thing about 8-9 months ago, something like that, and I've absolutely destroyed this thing. It's been so much fun. I've jumped it, I've backflipped it, I've unsuccessfully tried to front flip it. All the things, you know, gonna break stuff, all the things that are fun, I've done with this truck, and it's an epic piece of kit. Now I'm going to take a while on this one because we're not just going to jump straight to the ratings. I've got plenty of footage to show you, plenty of pictures to show you. This is in a state of disrepair at the moment, like pretty much everything that I own. But it has taken a right beating. It's super fast. I mean, on 4S, I haven't got a GPS speedometer, but I've seen plenty of videos on stock on 4S. It's doing like 45, 46 mile an hour. And on 6S, it's getting around 55. Now, it would do the claimed 60 miles an hour if it weren't for the front tyres ballooning. But I don't really want to change wheels and tyres because all the other wheels and tyres on the market for this scale RC car are heavier, and then that might ruin the diffs. And the diffs are like 50 quid each, so I don't really want to risk doing that. I'll put some thicker oil in the centre diff, which has helped a little bit, but I only put 100k in. I've got 500k to go in, so that might cure that problem, and we might be able to see full speed on this one day, maybe. But this is an absolute tank, this thing. It's an absolute weapon. It's loads of fun. It's got to be the most fun I've had with an RC car, hands down. It's got to be the quickest thing I've had. It's the most expensive car I've had. Yeah, I love this thing. So what I'm going to do, I'll play a few videos. I've got a few of this. I've got lots of this actually, but I won't play loads. And then we'll get to the racing. So we're going to start with the price on this. Now, I paid 360 for this. You can still get this for 360 quid from, I think it's 18 models, and you can get these for 379.99 from Model Sport, I think. So it comes, you know, between 350 and 400 quid, so I've given it a 6 for price. Right, now what's a fun factor? As I've said, most fun RC car I've ever owned. I'm going to give it a 9. I'm not going to give it a 10, because one day I hope to find something even more fun. Durability. Right, here we go. So like I say, I've owned this for about 8-9 months, and I've, you know, pushed its boundaries as much as I'm probably ever going to with any RC car. I've jumped it high, I've jumped it far, I've backflipped it, I've tried to front flip it and failed, I've nosedived it in a skate park, and it's done really well. You know, I've broken a wishbone, I've bent a rear drive shaft. These original steering blocks broke on the second run. They're terrible. You need to replace them straight away with the HD steering blocks. I think they're only £5 each. That's a must. I've broken a few other bits. I've bent the front shock tower at the moment. But generally speaking, it's really taken a beating. And like I say, it's not that I've owned it for only a few weeks. I've owned it for 8 to 9 months. I've taken this out many a time, and I've not been easy on it, apart from the first time maybe. So I've given that an 8 for durability, which I think I could probably go to 8.5, but I'll probably take some stick then, wouldn't I? So in total, this comes out at 23. That's the total score. I'm really impressed with this. I recommend these to everyone. I think they're loads of fun. I think they're plenty tough enough. A few upgrades maybe. I've got a few upgrades on this. I'm going to put a few more on as well. But all around, I think this is a fantastic package for a really good price. So well done, Team Corley. Well done. Now, if you're enjoying this video today, guys, please make sure you like and subscribe. We've got loads more RC content coming up. We've got new cars coming in. We've got old cars getting rebuilt and taken out for more bashing. And I've got some more electrics to review as well, and some more racing to do. So plenty more fun videos for you guys to watch. Right, next up is the Habeo Hyper GT, which again, I don't own anymore, so I can't show you. I've got plenty of videos and photos to show you momentarily. I bought this second hand as a rolling chassis and did a few bits doing, so I fixed it up. Didn't cost an awful lot of money. I bought a separate 6S system to put in it, and I've got to say it was a load of fun. I mean, my problem is I haven't got anywhere decent locally to take it to kind of go fast or to do street bashing or whatever you want to call it. So although I did find it fun, I would have found it more fun if I found somewhere better to use it. So that's my issue with it, and that's why I sold it, to be honest with you, because I couldn't really use it anywhere. So we're going to start with the price. So you can buy the RTR version for around 400 quid, but I think it's only 4S capable, whereas I was running a 6S system. So I think I worked it out. If you were to buy the new roller chassis, which is about 240 quid, plus 6S ESC motor, plus a transmitter and receiver, it would cost you in the region of 450, maybe 500 quid, depending on what electrics you bought. So price-wise, I put it down as a 5. So probably the most expensive one here, actually. I didn't pay that for it, but that's what you pay for new. Fun factor, I put it down as an 8. Now, again, I don't really have the space locally to enjoy it as much as I could, but I think if there were better space locally for me to use it, that could get bumped up to a 9. But I put that down as an 8 for now. Durability. Now, I had this down as a 10 because nothing broke on it, but I didn't really get a lot of use out of it, and I didn't really, only had one tumble really. So I put it down as a 9 because I'm sure if I kept on using it, something would have broke at some point. So yeah, so total score for the Habeo Hyper GT is 22. So now we're on to the WL Toys 284131. Again, it's not what I own anymore, so here's some pictures and videos and stuff. Now, I bought this. I only bought it in because I wanted something cheap to review on my channel. I didn't really want it. And my son bought the FTX Hooligan Junior, and I thought if I get something similar size, we can play together with the small RCs in the house or in the car park behind our house. And I thought, you know, why not? And I've got to say, I was massively impressed with it. You know, I had it drifting around the kitchen, which my wife really enjoyed. I had it drifting around the dining table, which my wife was really happy about. And I had it outside as well, and it was so much better than my son's FTX Hooligan Junior. I actually made a video about comparing the two cars, and it was ridiculous. I'll put a link to that video in the description as well. I thought for what it was epic. Anyway, I've got some videos and some pictures and stuff, and then we'll move on to the rating. So let's start with the price. You can pick these up for around £50. I think I picked mine up for £49.99, so I put the price down as £9.50. However, I think now they're around £57, £58, and that's if you order from China. So, but I put it down as £9.50 anyway. Fun I put down as a 5. Now I've put it down as a 5 because it's never going to be as fun as a 10 scale brushless car. But I still really enjoyed it, so I could probably push that up to a 6 if I wanted to, but I'm going to stick a 5. Durability, I give it a 9. Now I had some tumbles, I had some jumps as well, and I got, again, my son had to go, my son's got no chill, and nothing really broke. The only thing that broke was one of the LED tail lights went out after a smash. So I think durability, I've given it a 9. I could have given that a bit more really, but nah. So the total score for that is 23.5, and I think that's actually the highest scoring RC car here, I think. I'll have a look at the end. But yeah, that did well. I was really impressed with that. So next up, we have my son's Traxxas eRevo VXL. This is a 1/16 scale brushless RC car from Traxxas. That I'm really torn about again. I bought this second hand for my son, and I think it had a hard life before I bought it. And then my son comes along, and again, my son's got no chill, as we've discussed on several occasions today. And you can't do taking a chill pill, you can't do small jumps, you can't do low power jumps. He just wants to absolutely thrash everything he gets his hands on. So I feel like maybe I'm being a little bit harsh on it. I think if he bought one new, it would be a lot better. But it's so hard to judge. So I've got some, I might have some video clips of this, maybe. If I do, I'll put it after this waffle bit. So let's get to the ratings anyway. So the price, these cost around 300 quid. I think they're a bit over 300 quid, but I've called it 300 because I think you get a battery with it. So price is a 7. Fun factor, I mean, we only run this on 2S. We didn't have a 3S lipo that fit, but the way my son chewed through diff gears and spare gears on this, I wouldn't want to try 3S anyway. But on 2S, you know, it was quite a fun truck, to be fair. It could do a backflip even on 2S, which was impressive. It was plenty quick enough, especially for a 7-year-old child. So I've given it a 7 for fun. You know, if we tried a 3S and the diff didn't strip, then maybe I could have put that up to an 8. Who knows, but I'll give it a solid 7 for fun. Durability wise, again, it was second hand when I bought it, already had a hard life, and then it was given to a 7-year-old child with 0 chill. So I think it was brand new and it broke as much as it did. I'll probably give it a 5, but because it was a second hand, I've given it a 7. The other thing I note as well is a flipping nightmare to work on because everything's so small and it's a Traxxas design, not an FTX design or a Corally design or a Tamiya design. It's a flipping nightmare to work on. I hated working on it. And it was on my bench, you know, at least once a week, which really was not fun at all. But again, I wish I could get my hands on a new one to test that out because the score could be considerably higher. But as it stands, the total score for this is 21. My wheels just fallen off. Yeah, this has actually been sold and sent this out today. But yeah, 21 score, so make of that what you will. Right, now we're on to one of my latest purchases, which is the Tamiya racing truck. Now this is a Tamiya TT01 Type E chassis with a Buggyra Fat Fox body. We're going to be wild on this one. Now I bought this to go racing, and for its purpose as a race truck, it's been a ton of fun. And it's a really cheap way into racing, and it's not as serious a racing, so, you know, if you crash someone out, no one's going to cry or wait for in the car park. You know, and it's such a controlled class as well, which means it's not going to be whoever's richest is going to win, like in touring car and buggies, that kind of thing. So it's a really good way into racing. I think it's a really fun racing class, and actually in the racing class, this is a lot of fun, and I really love it. But I've had it outside on a few occasions as well for YouTube reasons and to make sure things work. And it's really uninspiring. A bit like my son's FTX Banzai. It's slow, doesn't handle well. You know, you can't jump it. I don't know, it seems a bit pointless really to take it outside just to bash about with. So so bearing that in mind, I'm going to show you a few clips now and then we're going to go on to the racing. So price, I mean, these come in, I think I paid £145 for this, and then I put bearings on it as well. Then you're going to put a transmitter and receiver in there as well. So I've put the price at 8 because realistically it's going to cost you near enough 200 quid to get it running without a battery and charger. So I think 8's a fair score for the price. Fun factor. Now, if it was racing, fun factor, I'd give it a strong 8, but maybe I'll do 2 scores for it. There you go. So a fun factor, if you're racing, I'll give it an 8. A fun factor, if you're just bashing outside, I'll give it a 4. And the only reason I'll give it a 4 is it was slightly more fun to drive than my son's FTX Banzai, which I gave a 3. So there you go, 4 for fun. The durability, I've given it a 9, and the only reason I've given it a 9 is the body shell has taken quite a pounding. Nothing's cracked yet, but I mean I put so much effort into making the body shell beautiful, and on the first outing it was scuffed off. So yeah, and also it's so slow, I mean it shouldn't break. So I'll give it a 9. So if you take it out for bashing, I'll give it a score of 21. But if you want it as a race car, my God, it's got a 25. So, right, this is the last final car we're going to rate here today on this video. And it's my old MST RMX 2.0 Classic Drift Chassis. God, that was a mouthful. So I haven't got it anymore. As you can see, I've sold that one on. Now, you can't buy these new anymore because the MST RMX 2.0 is no longer for sale. Now it's the RMX 2.5, which is more expensive. And I don't think they make a classic version either. But you can buy these second-hand still, you know, they're not really old. Now, when I got this, the chassis came in at 120 quid. But when you put all electric on as well, it came to about 400 quid. Now, there's an MST RMX ready-to-run version you can buy that, again, is around £400. Which won't have as good electronics as mine had, but it would be a ready-to-run drift package from MST. So I'll put a link to that in the description, and I'll put a link in the description to some of my drift videos as well, if you're interested in RC drifting, or if you're interested in the MST RMX range as well. So basically, price range, the price rating I've had to put a 6, because it's going to cost you around 400 quid, whichever way you do it. Now, fun factor. Ah, man. Bear with me. So basically we took it outside and tried to drift it. It was super slow. There wasn't even an ounce of grip. I really did not enjoy it. But when I went to a specific drift club, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it and the atmosphere was great and everyone had a great time. I really did enjoy that. The problem was that the nearest drift tracks to me were over an hour away, and that's a bit of a hike. So there were 2 places I used to go drifting. So one place is called Zeus RC Drift Club, and I loved it there. It was quite a good sized track. Lots of people went. It was really enjoyable. I loved the drifting. The tracks always changed as well, but they were always kind of easy-ish to drift around. So, and they had a good mix there of beginners and experts. There's always people to ask if you weren't sure, and there's always someone there who you could help with as well. So it was really good mix of people there. Good track. The only bad thing was they shut down a few months after I got my drift car, which was really unfortunate. Now, the other drift track I went to was Zion Drift, which is only a mile down the road, so still over an hour away from my house. But it was a much smaller track, so I didn't really feel like driving an hour to go to a small track. So that's why I sold my drift car in the end, because there's nowhere really suitable to use it. So that was the bad thing, but I really did enjoy the drift scene. So if a drift place opened up locally, I'd probably buy a drift car again. Right, let's get to the ratings. So price-wise, it's a 6. Fun factor, I'd give it a 7. I mean, if there was a drift track local, I'd put the fun factor up to an 8 or maybe even a 9. I really enjoyed it. Because it was such a trek to get anywhere, I've got to give it a 7, unfortunately. Durability, I'm going to give it a 10, because it never really went quick enough to really cause any damage, but nothing broke in the time I owned it. Even the body shell stayed in really good condition, to be honest with you, so I've got to give that a 10. So total score for the MST RMX 2.0 Classic is 23, which is a really good score. So the highest rated RC car me or my son have owned over the past 18 months is this. But only if you use it as a race car. if you want it as an outside basher, nah, it's like a 21. You don't want it. Well guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, I'll catch you guys next time.